Hey everybody, this is Jay, also known as J4, and in this small tutorial we'll see how to report bugs, request features, show friction points, basically give feedback about Resonite in a more general way. We are here on the Resonite issues repository. This tutorial will of course assume that you followed the previous one, which is about the GitHub basics, which walks you through creating a GitHub account. How exactly does it work in a really simple way? Well, if you haven't watched it, I can recommend going back and giving it a quick watch before this one. But now that we are here, the first step in reporting a bug or giving feedback in general is not really to create the report itself. You can just scroll down a bit in the README file, you can see the reporting requirements. Those are very important. There is a lot of stuff there, but to condense everything, it goes from really simple stuff as giving a log file when you encounter a bug, of course, given log files contain diagnostic data that we need to work with, or also respectful, given this is a bug tracker, not page board or some kind of debate forum. Also being specific in what you request or what you report on, etc. Once you've read through this, we can report our request offer feature, request offer first feature. So you can either go in the list right there, for instance, reporting a bug. Just click on there, and this will open you a form. That form is fairly easy to use. You can see exactly what to put there. For instance, title, game crashes when, I don't know, throw a fish item. I'm just writing anything. This is just an example. Describe the bug, for instance. When I throw fish item, game will crash. And again, you do not need to be precise, but you do not need to troubleshoot the issue ahead. Things just if you know the general area of where this is happening, what item it happens with, this is already good enough. So, for instance, to reproduce, let's add a list. All those fields are marked down as well. The same thing used in Discord, for instance, to format text. If you're familiar with that, you can do lists, headings, and etc. We produce, for instance, spawn fish item from inventory, throw it, game crashes. Reproduction item word. Usually you'd leave a link to a resrec or a go.resonite.com link, for instance. So we can, of course, test with the original item. If you can't provide the original item, that's fine. You can also do /a, though it's appreciated if you can link the exact item. Expected behavior. The fish shouldn't crash the game. You can also add screenshots. Add the Resonite version number. Be really careful. Stuff like latest doesn't work there. Just go to your Resonite home tab in your dashboard and click the small version facet that should be in the lower corner on the right, which will copy the actual full version of Resonite you are using. What platform does this occurs on? Select your operating system. For instance, I'm on Linux. You might be on Windows. Headsets. You can put, for instance, Quest Pro. And now the most important aspect of the bug report, the log files. Basically, actually, I'm gonna go find some log file to show you how to do that. As a reminder, just so you can see, finding the log files is really easy. Just right-click on your Steam library, select Manage Browse Local Files, go in the Logs folder, and just take the latest file in there. For instance, if I do that on my end, Resonite is right there. Logs. Let's close this. I can just take my last log file, drag and drop it into my browser. There we go. It's uploading the log file. we have our log file there. You can also add additional context and reporters, for instance, if you want to be credited when the bug gets fixed. And there we go. My Discord username, for instance. And once you think everything is correct, that you've added enough detail, you can just hit the create button on the bottom right corner. This will create an issue just to show you how that works. Let's take a bug, for instance, this one. So we can see there is a title that says what the bug is, small description, how to reproduce it, what context does this happen, where to reproduce that, expected behavior, which is really good. Some screenshots. We have log files, including the server log file if you are hosting on a headless server. We're going to come back to headlesses way later in the tutorial series. Reporters, of course. And once you've clicked open the issue, you'll see that there is this small bot called GitHub Action that will scan through your logs and tell us some data about it. So your operating system, your version, what hardware you use, what renderer, and etc. Just make our life easier. Of course, bugs is not the only thing that happen in Resonite. Sometimes you want new features and etc. So to request a new feature, it's as easy. Just for simplicity's sake, we're gonna return to the main repository by clicking there. And you can see another link that says request a feature with a small light bulb. Hit that, and you see that familiar form that where you add the title, is the feature request related to a problem, solution you'd like, alternatives, and etc. If there is no alternative, that's fine. Just put that you didn't think of any. Of course, requesters for crediting when creating the change logs, additional context that you think might be relevant to this new feature, and etc. I think we can skip over that one. It's pretty explicit as well. Let's head to the issues tab just to show you the rest of the issue types there are. If you click on the new issue button, you can see a bunch. So of course, we have our bug reports that we went through, feature request. Now we have the content issue. Basically, this is for anything concerning the art team. For instance, you discover that there is missing textures in the default home. Well, this is the kind of issue to report it. Where this only concerns official content. So official worlds such as the cloud home, the local home, and etc. And generally the items published in Resonite Essentials that are not from the community shared folders. For instance, the default tools, the custom default tools, and etc. External service is if you see an issue on any external service such as the metrics website, the moderation portal, GitHub as well is included in that. So if you have any feedback on those, you can just put them under type of issue. The friction point observation is the next one, and this one is one of the latest that were added to this repository, at least the latest issue types added. This one is just to give feedback on small friction points, like something that might work, but that doesn't really sit right. Or something that, as written in the description, that might be too difficult for what it is. You can just use that and talk about some friction points you have with Resonite. One of the latest, the second latest addition to our issue types is positive observation. This is more of a, as the title suggests, positive type of issue. Like you notice something you liked, you notice something that's really practical. Well, let us know via this issue. For instance, let's say you like the microphone tool because it allows you to record silly sounds. Well, go for it. You can just tell us that. And that encourages us to create more of that stuff, go more in that direction, for instance. The last two issue types are a bit special. The wiki feature request is specifically for the wiki itself. We're gonna go over the wiki in the next tutorial as well on how to use it, create an account, and contribute to it. Generally, that amounts to plugins, small graphical tweaks, and etc. Yeah. The last type of issue is the pre-release issue report. This is very specific. This is generally when we run a pre-release to test a new large feature that's going to come out. For instance, the splittening was in pre-release, and most of the issues were reported via this form. There's also a special one with security and vulnerabilities. If you are a security researcher or notice something that doesn't sit quite right with the security, just click on there. You can see the security policy, and it tells you to head to the support website. Of course, it doesn't load on my end anymore. It's embarrassing. But for instance, if we go on support.resonite.com, open a new ticket, and select report a security issue right there. You can just describe your security issue there, and we'll be sure to handle it as fast as possible. Not sure why the other website didn't work. Same for moderation. Please use the moderation system for that. All the issues that are open about moderation against specific players will be closed because this is not the place to put them. Of course, with some account support as well, please use the support website. Some cases might use discussions as well to get feedback on certain features. For instance, you can just head to the discussion tab on the top right there. And you can see a list of discussions that, for instance, the upgrade to .NET 10, which was a big one. And right now, we are currently looking at getting a new renderer, for instance. Let's click on that one to see what it's about. So we can see Frooks talking about basing Unity and etc. All the requirements for the new renderer, all the phase, a really detailed document. Right now, being at the phase 1, we are looking for feedback about what graphical features we want on the new renderer. And you can see, you can just weigh in there, put your thoughts, get feedback, discuss with others. Out of off topic. But yeah, you can put just feedback on etc. in there. You can add a new comment thread right there on the bottom. Just type your thing and click comment. Yeah, that's how you use discussions. You can, if a thread looks good to you, you can also just click reply, write what you need, and hit the reply button. I'm gonna reply that to that thread. But there you go. That's how you report bugs, friction points, and etc. On GitHub. Last small bit as a bonus to this tutorial. We go to the main Yellow Dog Man group, or also called organization GitHub terms. You can see, of course, all the repositories of Resonite, the Resonite issues on the local that we will see in the next tutorial. If you add to the project tab on top there, you can actually see what people are working on. For instance, this is what I'm working on right now. You can see my backlog, what's ready to be picked up, pending discussion, in progress, etc. and etc. That's the stuff that's done. Same for most team members. For instance, there's probable prime right there. There we go. Lots of stuff. What else? Okay, Godly. Some people have their project on the Resonite issues repo. No, I don't see it. Well, for instance, there's the community help welcome and etc. You can explore all of that on your own. Just click around, don't worry. There's not a good chance that you will delete anything. At the worst, you just go back in your browser using the small arrow. That's it. But that's about it for this small tutorial. As always, if you have any questions, come on the Resonate Discord and ask them. I will be very happy to answer. And see you in the next tutorial that will be about how to contribute to the local, so the translations of Resonite. Yeah.